Good afternoon, all. On behalf of Untitled Arts and Science College, Ambattur, Chennai, IQAC, and Department of BCom, Accounting and Finance, in association with IOT Academy, we welcome the faculties of Untitled Arts and Science College, Chennai, and the participants joined here for the first session of National Level PDP on Basics of Research Methodology. We would like to invite everyone to invoke the Almighty.
You are my strength when I am weak. You are the treasure that I seek. You are my seeking you as the precious gem. Not to give up, I'd be a fool. You are my I cross my shame. Fighting again, I bless your name. You are my fountain. Fall down, you pick me up. I'm tired, you fill my cup.
We would like to invite Dr. Anita Lebanon Ebensi, Principal, Untitled Arts and Science College, to address the gathering. Sorry, ma'am, you are in mute, ma'am. We are not able to hear you. Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, you are in mute, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I thank IOT for organizing this along with Untitled Arts and Science College. I am happy to see the good response from everyone because it's a need of the hour where everyone, apart from teaching, we are focusing on research. So let this PDP be a very useful one, and I request all the faculty members to make use of it. I especially thank Dr. Radha for coordinating this professional development program. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. Let me introduce the resource person of today's session, Dr. Vidya Arjun Rao Nagre. She is currently working with Ajinkya D.Y. Patel University, Pune, as an associate professor of English in the School of Liberal Arts. Dr. Vidya has been teaching linguistics, English language, and literature for 12 years. Her qualifications include MA, MPhil, and PhD in English. Dr. Vidya is a PhD guide of English and an honorable member of the Board of Studies. She has to her credit several articles published in national and international journals and conferences. Besides teaching, she is a recognized translator and a certified examiner for Cambridge. She has also worked as a moderator, syllabus, and curriculum designer expert in various institutions. We welcome you, ma'am, and with this, I hand over the session to Dr. Vidya. Ma'am, please.
Yes, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Allow me to share the screen and then kindly let me know if it's visible. Am I audible properly?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
That's great. Is it visible? Hello? Dr. Jayashree, is it visible?
Visible, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible. Can you make it a full screen, ma'am?
Sure.
Yeah, it's fine, ma'am. Good.
Okay, let me just check. I'm trying to do a slideshow, but somehow it's getting stuck to the smaller version. It's not working. Fine. I'll just run on the normal mode. Will that be fine?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So it's visible, right?
No, ma'am. Can we share?
No, it's okay. Give me a moment. I'm sharing it again. It's because there will be trouble operating it in then. Fine. I think it's perfect now. Is it visible?
It's visible.
You're not audible, I guess.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So shall we go ahead?
Yeah.
So thank you so much, IoT, for bestowing an opportunity to talk on such a crucial topic, writing an effective research title and abstract. This is why I said crucial topic, because this is what is the beginning of a journey towards completion of your research work. So when you start, you definitely start with the title of your, finalizing the title for your research project, research paper, or your research work. That might be PhD thesis or MPhil dissertation or any other kind of project, let's say. And after that comes is an abstract, which is a representation of the kind of portrayal uh, of your study that you have. It is a source of a mirror through which a reader can glance through your extensive journey of your research. So, not to waste much time, but let's begin with a simple talk on understanding first why the research title matters after all. Because research title is something that gives an idea about the kind of work that you have carried forward or conducted or undertaken. So I have given here a situation, so it will help you to understand why I am bringing this question out rather than directly discussing the characteristics of the title of the research paper or even research work. So why title is so important? Imagine a situation, you are researching on meditation and teaching. Okay, your study is a combination of research and meditation. And teaching, if meditation helps the teacher to improve their performances, right? So when you start working on your research work, you will search with these keywords: teaching, performance enhancement, and meditation. And what kind of results will you get if you Google search these words? You'll get these kind of titles: benefits of meditation for teachers, a quantitative investigation; why mindful teachers make education best; meditation gurus; teachers on the move; a quantitative report on how meditation can improve the performances of teachers. Fine. So these are 4 samples of titles I have given here. To understand the kind of titles you can jot down through the keywords you have chosen. Now, what are the keywords? When you decide certain area of the research, you have certain understanding in your mind that I want to investigate this kind of problem and I will use this kind of methodology. And these might be the findings or the outcomes of my study, right? When we say research, what is it exactly? Research is a contribution to the existing stream of knowledge. This is what is very important to understand here first. Research is not redoing the same thing again that somebody has done. You can reinvestigate the same problem, but putting some different angles to it or adding some more perspective to the existing study of knowledge. Let's say, for example, if you take a dictionary which has been edited in 1900, and if you take another dictionary, same dictionary by the same publisher, which has been edited in 20th century, will you not find differences in it? Definitely, because it keeps on updating the latest happening, the coinages, adoption of the new words, borrowing from various languages, right? And if at the same time, it also keeps on deleting archaic terminologies also. So this kind of research can also be benefited to the society. So your research should have some benefit in it, right? And your title represents the same. Your title is a spokesperson for your research who is going to represent your work on your behalf to the audience or to the reader. And it is going to tell the reader that what kind of study you have undertaken, what kind of problem you have tried to investigate, and what is your methodology, and what kind of inferences that you want to jot down. So these 4 titles can be, I'll try to go into more details and try to help you out to understand the inferences of these 4 titles. You will think that there are already 4 titles, right? They may serve the purpose. You just simply have to randomly choose one and use it as a research title. But it does not work in that way. How and why? Let's see. So these are inferences of the 4 titles. So all of these 4 titles may describe very similar ideas or of the studies, similar studies that you are undertaken. But the meaning of these titles are different. There are different impressions of those. For example, title first, that is Benefits of Meditation for Teachers, a quantitative investigation. It describes the topic and the method of your study, quantitative study that you are going to do. And what you are going to study is benefits of meditation, right? Benefits of meditation for teachers. You are not talking about performance enhancement here, right? So this title is not particular or it's not much catchy. Why catchy is important, that we will anyways be discussing in the later slide. But let me tell you in advance, when you write, when you jot down the title, your title should be very easily sought after, discoverable. When somebody Google search it, if you want to increase your H index or citation, then your title should be such which should be easily fitting to the criteria or the norms of Google search or norms of searching. Only then your work will be cited by many people, will be used by many people. And that is why your title has to be very apt. So the title 1 disqualifies here on that basis. Title 2. Second title is Why Mindful Teachers Make the Education Best. Okay, so it's a sort of question kind of thing that we are trying to investigate here. It partly describes the topic, but does not give any information about the method of your study here. So you're not talking about what kind of study will you be taking. See, research is a narrow down work. If you use an umbrella term, very wide title, for example, investigation on investigation on influence of meditation on the teachers' performances in India. If you use some title like this, it will lead you nowhere. because it's a very vast topic. At the same time, it is not even talking about the type of methodologies you are going to use. Are you going to go for a quantitative data analysis or qualitative one? Or are you going to use something else like fieldwork, library research, or are you going to use study of previous people or previous research scholars? And will you be interpreting on the basis of that? So these are various methodologies that through one of these, you might do your research work, but that has to reflect in your title. Unless and until it reflects, your title is not apt. Third title is Meditation Gurus. It is very, very casual. At the same time, it's also a little vague. When you say meditation gurus, under that can come Indian sages, or gurus can be some management gurus kind of stuff, or all those who talk on meditation. Not necessarily teachers are involved here, right? Teachers, I mean, we are not mentioning about the our main subject of the study, that is teachers from the education sector, right? You might have taken primary teachers or undergrad teachers from Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Maharashtra, or Jharkhand, or some particular area, or might be some particular location, bigger cities like Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, something like that, or Hyderabad, let's say. So if you have considered, you have to, of course, narrow down your research to one particular zone, one particular area. That your area of the study should also reflect in the title of your research paper or your research work. So this third title is also catcher, but gives almost no information about your study. The fourth title, Teachers on the Move, a quantitative report on how meditation can improve the performance of teachers. Okay, this title has various characteristics. Those has to be there for a good research title. It begins with a catchy main title and is followed by a subtitle that gives information about the content and the method of the study. Teachers on Move. It's very catchy, very attractive. Okay, so people will get interested. For example, I had once written a research paper. I mean, I took a long time before deciding it. Rather, the moment that title was stuck in my mind, I had an idea about what I'm going to write about. So it is Anglophobia to Anglomania, right? So that is a tendency we often find in India, that there are people who are either scared of English language. Being an English teacher, this title influenced me. Or there are people who are just maniac after it, and they keep pulling the legs of the other people on the basis of that. And their minds are more still colonized minds. So they do have colonized mindsets even after the 200 years. So I attacked on these bases. On the phobias and the manias, those were condemned, and this research paper was talked more on, building a bridge in between these two and maintaining and bringing out the harmony. So this kind of catchy title, Anglomania to Anglophobia to Anglomania kind of stuff, attracts the attention of the reader. So Teachers on Move is very catchy. At the same time, the subtitle is given. So the subtitle gives an idea about what kind of study it is. Teacher on Move means, are they going somewhere? Are they applying somewhere? Or are they leading somewhere, progressing, excelling, or something? So this study is quantitative report. So it will be a quantitative method of study. And a report kind of stuff on how meditation can improve the performance of teachers. Okay. So to discuss it further, now after understanding why and which title can be better or better suits your study or represent your study better, we'll now discuss the characteristics of good research title. According to rhetoric scholars, Heston and Key, making a good title for a paper involves ensuring that the title of the research accomplishes 4 goals, basically, as mentioned below. It should predict the content of the research paper. So what your research paper or your research work, let's say, I have just in general jotted down notes for this particular session. So it will be beneficial for the faculty members as well as students too. So this particularly talks about what kind of study you are going to undertake. Thereafter, interesting, catchy. It should reflect the tone of your writing. It should talk about the method of your study and contains important keywords from your work that will make it easier to be located during a keyword search by other scholars. So this diagram will help you out to understand. I have categorized the previous 4 titles, example of previous 4 titles according to these 4 characteristics mentioned by Heston and Keene. Okay, so this will help you definitely, I guess, to understand in a better way what my point of view. So I have made these 4 columns. If you on the right side, if you can see, that is, does it predict content? Is it interesting? Does it reflect tone of your work? And does it include important keywords from your study? So on that basis, title number 1 does predict content. So it is a quantitative investigation, right? And the benefits of meditation on teacher. Is it interesting? It's very common. Does it reflect the tone? No. Are there important keywords? Yes. Quantitative meditation teaches. These are the important keywords included in it. Why mindful teachers make the education best? It's a very random actually title, and it's very broad too. So it does not predict any content that what kind of stuff you are going to discuss in your research work. But it is still interesting because the keywords like mindful and education are used here, which may attract the readers. It reflects tone that you are going to investigate a problem because of the word why. Thereafter, important keywords are not used because the kind of content or the methodology of your study is not included in it. The last, third one, it does not predict any content. It's only interesting. It does not reflect tone, neither reflect tones nor use any important keywords. The last one fits best into these 4 categories, characteristics. Teachers on the move, quantitative research on how meditation can improve the performances of the teachers. It predicts the content. It is very interesting. It reflects tone. At the same time, it includes important keywords like quantitative research, meditation, improvement of the performance, and teachers. Right. So it encompasses the whole area of your study. Okay. So here are some examples I have brought to make this understanding easier. So how to write effective research title. I have given some these samples above. At the same time, I have even tried to bring out those categories, 4 categories here, and to fit different titles in it. So when you will write a research title, see, finalizing research title takes time. It does not happen in just a quick go, right? It takes time, no problem. Write down whatever comes in your mind. First of all, write down all kind of keywords. Okay, what things you would like to discuss on a piece of paper. Write down the question that you would like to investigate. Okay, the methodology that you will be using, the kind of sample or target sample, the subject of your study. Okay, and what would be the tentative conclusion or the hypothesis of your study. Write down these 4 lines, 4 points or paragraphs, and out of that, find out the important keywords and then formulate title with the help of it. Write it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 titles, and out of that, refine your search. Okay, so in this way, it will help you out to finalize your title in a better way. So if you can see this on the screen, make sure your research title describes a topic, method, sample, and result of your study, right? So the formula is given. Result is equal to a method of the study, topic among samples. Okay. For example, meditation makes teachers perform better. Okay. A quantitative study of mindfulness, meditation among the graduate teachers of Tamil Nadu. So we have finalized our sample. That is, we want to study undergraduate teachers. But can we study undergraduate teachers of the whole world or whole nation, India? Impossible, right? Otherwise, that will be very impractical study. You should always set a target, right? The people speaking in next sessions may talk on this, right? That how to finalize your sample, how to narrow down your research. So under that, this point is very important, which is crucial for this title also. So you have to narrow down your topic, set your target sample. So undergraduate teachers of Tamil Nadu, is it achievable? Yes, of course, because you have chosen only Tamil Nadu region and you are targeting only undergraduate teachers. So you can easily approach them by contacting or sending Google forms, or encompassing all those or visiting in person all those colleges or something like that. Or you can even to make it minimum, if you want to go for a research paper, this will be too much, right? If you want to go for a thesis, this is perfect. But if you want to go for a research paper, then you should go for a smaller region than Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu is a huge state, right? So you can go to some one place, one city, bigger city, where there might be several colleges. When you say undergraduate, again, please understand, under the undergraduate itself, there comes all kind of courses which gives you undergrad degree, including BA, BCom, BSc, BBA, and whatnot, all kind of stuff. So please keep it in mind when you finalize this. Then you are going to go for a qualitative study, not quantitative here. So you may jot down some, but see, analyzing qualitative data is little tougher than quantitative one, because quantitative data analyzing has set formulas. So you can easily, add some digits in it, whatever is your inferences of the study, and you get results. But qualitative analyzing qualitative study is very subjective. It may influence your results. So you have to be very particular. Okay. So this is how you can jot down your research title. Now, these are certain tips that you should bear in mind before finalizing or while finalizing your title for your research. Avoid unnecessary words and jargons, because they make your title complicated and the reader won't understand what it is on. So keep the title statement as concise as possible. Your title should be comprehensible even to people who are not expert in your field. Just take example from your own. When you Google search something, there comes thousands of the results. Do you go and read each and every article or every blog? Do you visit that? You just glance through the title and then you decide whether it is useful or related to what you want to search, right? And then you try to go ahead with it. And in case if you don't find anything, then you again revise what you have written in that search engine, right? And then you add on some more keywords, and then you may appear or approach to your targeted search, right? So that is why it should be easily understood by those also who are not experts from your field. So they should also decide whether your study may be helpful or not. For example, let's say you're working on the meditation, influence of meditation or impact of meditation on the teachers, undergraduate teachers. And while searching, you came across some good research article or research work from science discipline, who has talked, or some psychology, let's say, who has talked about how human psychology is set, and what is the role of meditation in molding your psychology. At least a part of it may be helpful to your study, or it may influence or give you some new directions too, right? So in this way, your title has to be very easy. Make sure your title is between 5 to 15 words. I mean, limited, concise size, not huge lines or paragraphs like it. Verify that your title conforms to the standards and requirements of the outlet. Now, please bear in mind, that some universities do have their own norms. Okay, and they have their own guidelines, and they also tell you about how to write a research title, how should be an abstract, and everybody has different norms. So wherever you have applied from, from where you are conducting or carrying your research, please take the manual from them and try to study it beforehand. Otherwise, what would happen? You will end up doing study, and then suddenly you come to know that it's not fitting into their criteria. Then again, you have to rework, start from zero. It will just ruin your efforts. So please begin with that step first. That is the baby step. Understanding, reading the whole manual without any laziness. Okay, this is very important because we feel very exhausted even just after looking at the size of the manual or the page numbers. Please don't do that. Manuals are very carefully crafted by experts, by putting a lot of efforts and researching from resources, and brought forth to you to maintain some standard and quality in the research. So please follow that. Okay. Use a descriptive phrase to convey the purpose of your research efficiently. So the phrases should not be ambiguous. They should be descriptive, which will lead to the understanding of what your study is about. Make your title discoverable. This is something is very crucial from the point of view of your title becomes discoverable or your research becomes sought after, or if you want to raise your H index or citation. But this is something is very important for all those who are here, the faculty members, and because this is what is calculated in API, right? So the title has to be very discoverable. Only then your work will be referred by many people, used by many people, and this is what is the major purpose of the research, being useful to others' studies, right? So that is why it begins with the first step, that is title. Avoid umbrella terms, make it specific. As I discussed before, narrow down your terms. Study the don'ts of the writing of the research title very carefully. I have not brought that topic here because our topic was how to craft the research title well. But there are a lot of don'ts, such as you cannot use full stop in your title, where to use hyphens, how to use colons, and all other stuff. If you are writing the name of the novel, you have to write it in italics. You should not put it in inverted commas. That is a very wrong practice. So there are many more things like that. Please go through it once. Now, let's turn to our second topic, that is how to craft your abstract, right? So before we jump on the writing an abstract for the research work, let us first understand what type of abstracts are there. There are three types of abstracts: descriptive, informative, critical. I have considered it from the point of view of all kind of writing, such as research article writing and academic writing and so on, because abstract is used at all places and the understanding of abstract should be common, and only then we can develop it in specific for research. So what is descriptive? Basically, descriptive abstract explains purpose of your study, objectives, methods, but does not talk about the research section. Okay, but if you are writing an abstract for your research thesis, research work represented in the thesis or an article, then you should not use this. You have to include the research section in the abstract, at least the prominent one, because this research section itself gives you an idea about, gives the reader idea about what kind of conclusions that you have arrived at. So in a way, the reader decides whether your study was really successful or useful. Is it really contributing something new, right? And if it is just a research article, then they will decide if it is really readable. Okay, is it really worth putting some efforts in reading it out? Fine. So here is some normal random example. that let's say you are researching on let's say so there is some hill around and it is neglected, and government often keeps on putting efforts, right, in preserving these green areas. And then you came to know that there are some herbs found over there, and they are very rare ones or rare species. For example, in Maharashtra, we do have there is one district named Satara, where there is a kind of a plateau named Kas. So during monsoon season, especially, the plateau is usually barren, and during monsoon, at the end of the monsoon, it gets flooded by all kind of beautiful flowers over there and natural flowers. Okay, and almost every week the season and the color of the flowers change. I mean, different variety of flowers bloom and die. So it's pink all over in September, at the end of September, at the beginning of the October, it's all or everything is blue or yellow or something like that, or a mixture of it. So let's say you have come across such zone, and then you want to research on that and want to conclude a study that this place is most neglected, and this species should be preserved more. And what should be done in that? So you may say that trespassing should be banned. This cattle grazing should not be allowed in this area. That's why these things are ruining, and why it is taking birth only on this land because of some favorable conditions to that. So something like that you have found out there. But when you will write descriptive abstract, you will talk about your purpose of study. What is your objective? To investigate if this particular, if the rare herbs are existed there, and if they are in well condition, and what is your method of study? Field work. You might have gone there, and the combination of data, this collection from government websites. So what government has, government keeps on releasing various reports. So you studied those. What was it 10 years back? What is it now? And then you can predict what it will be 10 years after if you don't pay attention, something like that. Basically, it's in 100 to 200 words for research paper. But if you go for thesis, it's more than that. So abstract is always 1/3 to your study. So if you are writing a huge thesis of 300 pages, then your abstract goes on for 1.5 page. That is around 7 to 10 paragraphs itself. But for research paper, it's just 1 paragraph. Okay, informative abstract. These abstracts are like a condensed version of your paper, giving an overview of everything in your research, including the results. These are much longer than descriptive abstracts, can be anywhere from a single paragraph to the whole page. So whole page in the case of this particular thesis writing or dissertation writing, and single paragraph in case of research paper writing. The basic information, including both styles of abstract, is the same, with the main difference being that the result. So the purpose, objective, method of study, along with the findings, major findings, are discussed in informative abstract. Critical abstract. A critical abstract is not often used. Why? It may be required in only the same some courses. For example, critical abstract accomplish some kind of goal, as the other type of abstract cannot. For example, discussing your work in comparison with some previous work, and how your work is better, or why your work is important, and how the previous person neglected this area or has jotted down wrong conclusion and kind of stuff. So it is directly criticizing on that. So that critical abstract, where do we use? We do use critical abstract in newspaper articles writing. For example, you have written something, or research paper articles writing. Generally, our thesis write-ups are not based on single studies, right? You write something, and now you are showing the qualities of your work against the demerits of somebody else's work. That can't be complete the research work for larger broad doctoral studies, right? So this is basically is a difference. Descriptive explains purpose, goal, method. Informative is an overview, single paragraph to a whole page. Critical works being discussed to the other writer's own research. So which maintains a well balance is informative abstract. So when you will write a dissertation or thesis or even a research paper, please go for informative abstract and include purpose, objective, that is objective of your study, the aims and objective of your study, methodology, and the major findings in your abstract. So that will generate interest in the reader. So these are certain points that we have to answer while writing our abstract. What are those? Identify your purpose first. Why are you conducting this study? Okay, or what do you want to investigate? That is important. Second important question you have to answer in your abstract is, why did you choose this particular study? That this is not discovered by anybody else before, or people have worked on this, but this particular portion has been neglected, or while studying some good work, I came across some very effective solutions to that problem. And that's why I am doing this study. This kind of answers might be there. How did you conduct your research? Here you have to talk about the methodology of your study. What did you find? Major findings. Why is this research and your findings important? This is an important question you have to address in your abstract. So the reader will, your abstract has to be very convincing. So the reader should feel like referring to your article or referring to your research work only. So this is like just an opening door, which will invite the guest in. And the door has to be very appealing and very, very convincing. So your abstract should have convincing and appealing language. The tone has to be convincing. So it should talk about why your study is important, what is done by you, or what have you contributed new to the existing stream of knowledge. Why should someone read your entire work of research? So you might say that you mention only major findings, and after that you may mention that there are many more things which have been investigated and amazing results are found, and the methodologies applied, the way methodologies applied and conclusion inferred are very interesting. For that, the reader should read your research. Then explain the problem at hand. What problem is your research trying to better understand to solve? What is the scope of your study? A general problem or something specific? What is your main claim or argument? So when we say general problem, that malnutrition in feeding mothers, lactating mothers, let's say, that is a very specific problem. But if you say malnutrition in lactating mothers in a certain region, okay, some tribal area, then that will be a specific problem. You will focus only on that tribal area, and then you will talk about the problems faced by them, what is happening with their kids, and then what is the future repercussion of that, and what kind of solutions can be offered. Or even bringing forward this problem will also help the government to understand that focus is not given, or what kind of some social department it may be helpful to them to understand that yes, this problem needs attention, right? So this can be your main claim or argument, that this is severely neglected and this is going to happen on the future progenies, right? Explain your method. Discuss your own research, including the variables and your approach. Whenever we write something, some research on some research work, we have to talk on very basically about limitation of our study. So what is limitation of our study? Limitation of our study is to investigate only limited to this area, or through only limited this method. because you might be doing it for the first time, right? So, or you have some limitation of time, thereafter other resources like finances, or might be you can't travel distance. Okay, this kind of limitations might be there. That's why your study is focused only on a particular area. So you have to talk about that. Describe the evidence. You have to support your claim that you have used these resources or methodologies. Give an overview of your most important sources, how effectively you conducted your study. That is what you have to address here. Describe your results in informative abstract. That is what we will be using for our research work. What answer did you reach from your research or study? A major finding that you have to address in your abstract. What your hypothesis or argument, was your hypothesis or argument supported? Before we start studying something, we consider certain kind of results in our mind. For example, I want to go in this tribal area to research on whether these lactating mothers are malnutritioned. I feel yes, they are. Okay, and the reasons might be they are not provided some nutritious food, or they lack resources, or economical issues are affecting their access to the nutritious resources. This is what is my hypothesis, okay, or my argument. I go there, study, apply the methodology, might be field work, investigation, or questionnaire getting solved by them personally, or sending questionnaire to some these people, authorities, or studying the various reports by government, or if there are some NGOs working, talking with them, interviewing methods and all. I'll do this all kind of investigations, and then I'll infer my conclusions. And my conclusions, if matches with the hypothesis, then my hypothesis was successful. But there can also be null hypothesis, right? It may be possible that I consider that economic issues, but might be my study has come out with the conclusion that it is completely ignorance, or government is providing them nutrition food. Okay, they have set some booths where these tribal people can come and take free food for free, nutrition food, but they lack faith in government, so they are not coming. They have some superstition, they are avoiding the government booths. This can be some very strange conclusion that I may arrive at, and then my hypothesis will go black, will go null. So this kind of very important, interesting things you have to address in your abstract, so to invite the attention of people. What are the general findings also you have to talk about? Give your conclusions. What are the implications of your work? Are your results general or specific? That also you have to address. If your results are general, then the usage of those generic results are applicable to different field. If your result is specific, for example, specific for the lactating mothers from tribal area, it can't be applicable to the malnutrition lactating mothers from cities. Okay, so these two are very different things. So whatever it is, you have to mention that in your abstract. Very important thing is revision. Revise your abstract several times to eliminate mistakes, if any. Or there might happen that there are some very important points that you forgot to address in your work, right? So that may cause problem, will not make your abstract more impressive. So if you want to make your abstract effective, take your sweet time. Abstract is something very important. Okay, now here I would like to tell one very important thing that I also learned during my doctoral studies. I did my MPhil and PhD, and I spent my 10 years in research on Indian English, especially from linguistic point of view. So while doing study, I learned that you should have a broader understanding of the topic of your research. Thereafter, you have to decide, narrow down what kind of problem you would like to investigate. Okay, set your target sample. and then fix your methodology and start investigating from that perspective. Finish with your studies. Initially write certain abstract that I will be doing this, and this kind will be the results, right? But what we write in abstract, we do not write in the future tense. We write in the present tense that these are the results. So when will you get results? You will get results once at the end of your study. Do you understand what I mean? So if you want to write these are the results, you should first finish your study, finish your findings, and then come back and then draft abstract. Please remember this. Abstract does not happen at the first time. Many people, what do? They just write a title, write an abstract, write keywords, and then start investigating. It does not work in that way. It's rather reverse, because you should have some findings to mention in your abstract. But for time being, to get an outline or itinerary of the journey of your research, you should always draft a tentative abstract that can't be called final. And at the end of your study, revisit your abstract and then finalize it by adding whether your hypothesis was successful, what were your major findings, and how your study is helpful to the upcoming scholars. So all these things you will be capable to write only at the after the completion of your study. So please bear this point in mind. Please take feedback from your peers, seniors, or experts. They will definitely add on some points, give some perspectives, or eliminate if you have written some wrong point, right? So please take your time on working on abstract, because abstract is something that invites the readers, invites the scholars. So you have to draft your abstract very carefully. Thank you so much. And I open the session for discussion if there is any. If there are any questions, please go ahead with it.
The session is open for discussion now. You can unmute and interact with the resource person, or you can post your questions in the chat box also. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
You can write your questions in chat box also. I can read from there.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please. It's Professor.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, graphical abstract is mandatory for a submission of abstract, ma'am. Graphical abstract.
Graphical abstract, you said?
Yeah, that is a mandatory, ma'am.
Sir, it depends on the demand of the next person. So if you are talking in terms of submitting it for a research paper publication, then definitely we submit it beforehand. And then they give you a green signal whether your paper has to be submitted or not. But if you talk in terms of writing a bigger thesis or dissertation like that,
okay,
yes, then it goes afterwards. Because see, basically we do include our findings, the major things, what we have achieved through our study in abstract.
Okay.
So definitely logically, this statement is correct. So once you finish your study, what you have achieved, that you write in the abstract then.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, there is a
Yes.
chat box, ma'am. Can I read it? How to coin the research title?
Ma'am, your voice is little low. Okay, it's Mr. Dibakar has asked how to coin the research title. So yes, so this is what is very important. Please take a piece of paper, on that write down what you want to study, what kind of problem you would like to investigate. Then who will be your target study, sample of size, who will be sample of your study, and then how will you study that. Okay, after that, what will be your hypothesis, and then after that you will write about kind of conclusion that you think are possible. Write it down on a piece of paper, underline all the keywords from there, and collect those on a different sheet of paper. Out of that, try to formulate a title that encompasses all major keywords. And to minimize your title or make it concise, avoid the repetitive words or little unnecessary words. Add only major keywords which will reflect your study. I hope this is helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, just I want to tell you the one title. Just you listen that tell me that, ma'am. Actually, I am a belongs to physical education. So title is Status of Health Related Physical Fitness Elements of Private and Government Teenagers School Boys in Coimbatore district.
Okay, can you, sir, write your title in chat box so I can read it better?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any question?
Is the title? Type பண்ணி போட first.
Yes, please. Sudha, ma'am. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Sudha ma'am, do you have any question, ma'am?
Kindly unmute her so she can speak.
It is open to all participants, ma'am.
Or else you can write your question in the chat box. I'll read it for you. See, ma'am, you talked about standard format, right? So that is what I mentioned previously, that almost all universities do have their own manual. Okay, so you have to study, if you are pursuing a doctoral research, then you have to go through the manual first, because there are different kind of requirements by different universities. And still, if you want to know some standard format, kindly visit the UGC website. They do have various manuals and related to research work and all. And in terms of writing research paper, the standard format of it, when you get a call for research or call for a paper, then they definitely give you the criteria in which your abstract should be fit, your research paper should be fit. So please follow those things.
Ma'am, I send in chat box, ma'am.
Yes. So status of health-related physical fitness elements of private and government teenage school boys in Coimbatore district.
Yeah, ma'am.
So basically, sir, here there are some repetitions of such as health and physical fitness. You can make a tie in these two and minimize one. Thereafter, elements, fitness elements. So physical fitness elements is a huge term that is consuming 3 words. And then teenage school boys, rather than the
Sorry, ma'am.
Your voice is
Sorry, ma'am.
Our resource person has some technical issues. She'll be joining us soon. Sorry for the inconvenience. She'll be joining us soon. Vidya ma'am will be joining soon. She has some technical issues. She'll be joining soon. Vidya ma'am will be joining soon. She has some technical issues. We are sorry for the inconvenience. She'll be joining us soon. Ma'am, we are not able to hear you, ma'am. Vidya ma'am? Ma'am, we are not able to hear you, ma'am. I think you are in mute, ma'am. Vidya ma'am? I think you are in mute, ma'am. We are not able to hear you. Vidya ma'am? We are not able to hear you, ma'am. I think you are in mute, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I'll reconnect. Hold on.
Ma'am, you are audible now, ma'am. Vidya ma'am, you are audible now, ma'am.
Yeah.
On behalf of Anai Violet Arts and Science College, Ambattur, Chennai, IQAC, and Department of BCom, Accounting and Finance, in association with IOT Academy, we thank Dr. Vidya for the enlightening and enriching session. We thank once again for the excellent presentation, ma'am. We thank you for enhancing our understanding with your commendable presentation. We thank you very much for your efforts, ma'am. We thank the faculties of Anna Violet Arts and Science College and the participants for joining the session today. Thank you all.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes, yes, sir.
Ma'am, shall I get the phone number of Vidya ma'am?
Sir, we will be sharing, sir. Actually, she'll be joining us soon, sir. She has some technical issues. That's why she'll be
Okay,
joining
ma'am.
us.
Actually, okay, ma'am. Thank you,
Sharing
ma'am.
her details in the group, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Kindly fill the feedback form using the link that has been posted in the chat box. Thank you all. Have a great day, and we'll be meeting tomorrow. Dear participants, we will join the session tomorrow. We'll meet you tomorrow. Please post the feedback using the link that has been posted in the chat box. Thank you all. Have a great day. We will meet you all tomorrow.
Yes. So sorry, this technical errors
It's okay, ma'am.
beyond our control.
You're audible now, ma'am.
Ma'am, you're not audible. Your voice is very low.
Sorry, ma'am. I can hear your voice, ma'am. You're audible now.
Yeah. So sorry, I could not address some questions. Anybody's have any question so far?
Yes, ma'am. Can I read the questions, ma'am?
Yes, please. It will be great.
Could you please share any standard format?
Yes, I talked on that. So you can get the standard format on UGC website for research. And very important thing is, of course, we have to study the manual of the university where we have applied for our doctoral research, or even if you want to submit a research paper, you have to follow this guidelines given by that particular journal. Every journal has their own guidelines, so you have to follow those.
There are abstracts must be only informative.
Not like that. See, for the disciplines like science stream and other disciplines, it differs. But what is more common is um, the kind of things we include in the abstract, like your purpose of your study, aims and objectives, then methodologies, hypotheses, major findings, right? Some interesting fact about that. Everything that we include, that is more common. Right? Try to make it simple rather than making it complicated. This is my suggestion. So the reader should get interested in reading your work, and your work should be useful to others. That's more important.
How many keywords are required for abstract, ma'am?
See, if you are sending a research article, research paper, then they do have standard count for that. It's 5 to 7 keywords. Anything else?
Any other questions, participants?
Pardon? I couldn't hear that.
I think there are no more questions, ma'am. Shall we wind up?
Okay. Yes. Please go ahead.
behalf of Anna Violet Arts and Science College, Ambattur, Chennai, IQAC, and Department of BCom, Accounting and Finance, in association with IOT Academy, we thank Dr. Vidya for the enlightening and enriching session. We thank once again for the excellent presentation, ma'am. We thank you for enhancing your understanding with your commendable presentation, and we thank you very much for your efforts, ma'am. We thank the faculties of Anna Violet Arts and Science College and the participants for joining the session today. Thank you all. Thank you very much for your efforts, ma'am.
Thank you so much, IOT, once again. Thanks a lot, all of you, for your patient listening and interaction and active participation. Thank you so much. I take your leave.
Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am.